So I'm very recently 26 years old, which means I pretty much know everything and have experienced everything there is to experience in life. So I figured I would hop on here and just kind of yap about a topic to give, the younger people, like the 24-year-olds, a little bit of guidance moving forward in life. I find myself often sort of having these conversations in my head by myself, like when you win an argument in the shower. Um, and it's much cheaper than therapy to just kind of hop on YouTube and make a 15-minute video of you talking about something. And I enjoy watching other people's, so I figured I would give this a shot. So this might be a little bit rambly or disjointed, but forgive me. I'm new to the short to mid form yap video. Anyway, lately I've just been going over and over in my head about whether I think people all have redeeming qualities or whether there are some people who just kind of suck. I definitely go back and forth on this just depending on what kind of mood I'm in, which I think is going to become a little bit of a trend as I hopefully make more of these videos. But I do think that sometimes, and obviously I'm not talking about like, the guy who rose to power in Germany. I don't mean people like that. Obviously, that guy just sucks. I'm not going to come up with a redeeming quality for him. But I think we've all had a neighbor, a coworker, a schoolmate, somebody in our life who we just hate to see coming. You see their face and all of a sudden you're in a worse mood. And I definitely have met people like that and known people like that. But I often reflect on myself and I'm like, is that more of a reflection of who I am? The fact that I've judged this person and put them in a box when I don't really know them that well. And I've decided that, oh, I just really don't care for this person. And obviously that's going to paint every interaction you have with them. And I try when you're like alone, it's really easy to sort of be like, I shouldn't do that. I should really try to have more patience and understanding for people and try to sort of approach everybody with open arms and an open mind. But when it's Tuesday night in February, and it's 10 degrees and you run into that person in the parking lot and you just want to get in your car and go home, there is that little part of you that's like, oh my God, I'm going to commit a crime. But I catch myself a lot more recently and as I get older, and I think we should all try to do this, where just because that's my reaction, that really has nothing to do with what the actual person is like and what value they have as a person and a complete picture of who they really are. And I think that's where you kind of have to draw a line in your head of there's a very big difference between I don't get on with somebody and they are actually a bad person. It's really easy to slip into that pattern of anybody that I don't get along with or that annoys me is a morally corrupt human being on this planet. I've been trying to stay a lot more conscious of intent behind actions lately. Kant would say that it's the intent that really matters. The outcome matters a lot less for judging moral character or judging, someone's, I hate to say value. I don't think that people are more or less valuable. I just mean, everybody has their biases and stuff. But trying to be aware of that intent. I really do struggle with getting mad at people on the road. I never used to, but since I graduated school and got a job that I commute to, like when you drive every day and when you're tired and stuff, it's really easy to get mad at other drivers. So just an example, like if somebody stopped really hard in front of you, I think the first reaction is like, holy shit, what an idiot. They almost made me crash, like fuck this person. But if 3 seconds later you saw a kitten walk out the side of their car because they stopped to not hit it, I think a lot of us kind of go, oh, well, I'm annoyed that I had to slam on my brakes, but I too would have done that. I also wouldn't want to hit a kitten with my car. And all of a sudden it becomes a lot easier to understand. And, there's the quote that's like, never attribute to malice what can be attributed to stupidity, or I think that's it, but, that's the general idea. Like, never assume that somebody did something mean or rude on purpose to you when it might have just been the fact that they're not aware that they said something they shouldn't have, or they asked about something they shouldn't have. And I think trying to take that a step further in life and just understanding that, like, I wouldn't attribute to malice or stupidity what can be attributed to a good intention that I'm not aware of, right? I think sometimes people maybe annoy you or put you out when they're really trying to do something maybe not nice, but at the very least to include you. I'll tell you an anecdote that I feel bad about to this day. In sixth grade, I had a Minecraft Let's Play YouTube channel. Um, ladies, relax. Um, one at a time. Um, and I would get on there and go, "Hey guys, it's me. I'm playing Hunger Games today." And I did not have a lot of friends in middle school, but one day I was at school and this kid who I had like played Minecraft with once or twice like came up to me during gym and was like, "Oh look, like it's," and said my YouTube name, um, and he didn't mean anything like mean by it. He wasn't trying to embarrass me. He didn't yell it so that everyone could hear. He just said it, and I was like pissed. Like I was like, "Don't talk about that. Like I'm already. I mean, I didn't say this, but it's like I'm already not cool. It's already very hard for me to like make friends and fit in here. Like, please shut up. Never say that again." And I kind of distanced myself from him afterward, and not because I disliked him, right? It was just because I was so scared of being embarrassed. And now as an adult, like I can recognize that was a kid who also, I am aware, like didn't have a lot of friends, was probably trying to make a connection with me, like, "Oh, here's the thing I can reference that we both know about." um and trying to get a little bit closer, and that's why I feel bad about that to this day, because it's like, oh wow, I didn't just reject that attempt, I like really shut it down. And it's hard because in those moments, whether you're 10 or 12 or 15 or 20, it doesn't matter, 50, I'm sure, you kind of default to that embarrassment, and you default to that like, shut up, like I just need to make it out of this interaction, stop, like leave me alone. And it's so easy to get there, right? Like anger is such an accessible emotion for us, but trying to understand that like, oh, this person's trying to make a connection with me, and maybe it's not the best way of going about it, but I can see that and I can appreciate it, and even if I don't want to be their friend, I don't need to be an asshole about this. That's such a valuable skill, and it's so much easier said than done. Like I don't think we ever stop trying to become more mature. I always thought that at 26 I would like, oh, one day I would wake up and I would just be an adult. And it's like, no, you just kind of keep doing your best every day, and trying to build growth over time. And I think the way that growth happens is an interaction happens, or a big event or a small one, like anything that kind of prompts you to you just kind of stop and think, where it's like, wow, I don't think I needed to be that harsh to him. I don't think I needed to talk to her that way. And that kind of prompts this change of like, well, I should at least try. I should make an effort to be more understanding and more amenable moving forward. But all that being said, I do think there are some people who are just kind of the worst. And it's like, no amount of understanding is going to change that. No amount of patience is going to make that go away. If anything, being understanding and patient with those very select few people just kind of allows them to be shittier and walk all over you more. But I think these people tend to be super self-interested, very narcissistic. They're very almost rude and shitty by accident. Which I don't mean to say absolves them of any responsibility for it. I just mean those people who are truly sort of rotten. A lot of the time it seems like they're that way sort of just as a byproduct of who they are, and it's not a conscious effort, which is usually how you know that somebody is actually kind of like a bad person. I think the thing that's so dangerous about these people, and I don't mean this at all to be like a preachy, like I know better or whatever, anything like that, but the thing that's kind of dangerous about these people is like, they don't feel bad about this stuff. Like they will step over you. They will do whatever they need to do to get out ahead, or to beat you at something, or even to sort of like throw you under the bus if they made a mistake. Like if somebody in your workplace makes a mistake and you're not even aware of it, there are some people in the world who will just kind of blame you. And this goes for like school, sports, whatever. Like you need to be aware when you're around these people, not in like a, you got to watch your back, like people are out to get you. We're not all living in some political thriller. But there are these people who kind of lack a conscience and will say or do whatever they need to kind of come out on top, or make sure that they look squeaky clean. And I think those people are dangerous. And also, those are the people who I mean when I say it seems like there's a select few who just kind of suck. And there's any number of reasons they could be that way, right? Like, they might have had a really hard childhood. There's all these things, but in the end, it's very few things actually give you a free pass to just be a bad person. And a little bit of a tangent here, sorry, but I think sometimes we tend to like glorify some of these people almost. Like, you'll hear people sometimes talk about somebody with these traits and be like, wow, like he's so cold, like he doesn't care at all, he doesn't give a fuck, like that idea of he's got that dog in him. And it's like, not to be ridiculously cheesy, but I think when somebody has that dog in them, they also maybe have the capacity for empathy and, care for anyone other than themselves. I think people see movies and edits of movies like Marty Supreme where they're like, that's how you gotta be. Like, you gotta be a lone wolf. You only gotta look out for yourself. Like, that's how you succeed. And it's like, no, like, the point of that movie is he's a dickhead. A selfish dickhead, and the only thing really ever worthwhile that he did was creating someone else with someone else, and he sort of accepts that at the end of the movie. It's a great movie, I love it. I just think that sort of alpha male crowd kind of fundamentally missed the point on that one, which is so rare for them. But anyway, that's not the point. I just think that there's a little bit of a trend, especially amongst young men, of thinking that it's all justified if you get to where you're going. If I get to that mountaintop that I have in my head, whether that's like money or a specific job or being a pro athlete, whatever it is, as long as I get there, then whatever I did on my way is justified. You got to stop yourself like in your tracks if you're thinking that way. I don't think there's anything wrong with having confidence in yourself and believing in yourself and kind of like grinding and saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to achieve the thing I want to achieve. I'm all for that. Like, for anybody, if you're empowered to go after something, I think that's great. You should go after it. But there's really no reason you need to step on other people's heads on your way to the top. That is something that shitty people do. They will step on people's heads. They will tell themselves and anyone who will listen that that's the only way to get there, and that's not true. It's much easier to complete a goal with someone than by working against people. You ever try to move a couch into a new apartment 3 floors up? You know how hard that is to do with people helping you? Try doing it with 3 guys trying to tackle you the whole time because you called them dickheads on the way up the stairs. Obviously that metaphor doesn't apply, but it just making the point that like you'll get a lot further with people's help and being kind to people than you will saying like, fuck you, like I know who I am, I don't need anybody's help. Maybe you don't need it, but you don't need to flip everyone off on your way to whatever you're doing. Anyway, this one kind of got away from me a little bit, but all of this is really just to make the point that like I think a lot of us are really quick to anger and quick to get annoyed, and we could all benefit from trying to rein that in a little bit. If you're not, awesome, like I'm happy that you've achieved that sort of Buddhist Zen thing that I'm trying to get to. But if you're anything like me, you go even day to day trying to stay in an even keel place and approach interactions and people with as much of an open mind as you can. And I don't think I'm ever gonna get there 100%. I don't think I'm ever gonna be perfect. I don't expect anybody else to be perfect. But I think as long as you're trying, if you're putting in a genuine effort to get to a place where you're a better person than you were yesterday or a week ago or a year ago, you don't need to improve every single day. But if you can say, I'm better than I was last year, I think you're well on the track to living sort of a worthwhile life. Anyway, that's just the opinions of a dumbass 26-year-old who thinks he's lived 1,000 lifetimes. If you somehow listen to this whole thing when I've never posted on YouTube ever, thank you. Let me know if this resonated at all, or if you'd want another one and what it would be about. Take care.